Here we go. Let me know when I can, or let me know when you can hear me. Me and Tommy are currently having some technical difficulties. We're trying to get Tommy's audio and mic to work. Here he is. Um, so yeah, say something, Tom.
Hello, everybody. Can
Say it.
anyone hear me?
No, we can't hear you on the Discord. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Sorry that me and Tom are 30-year-old dummies that can't figure out how to work Discord, but we're trying. We're trying. So I think you need to go to your user settings and go to voice and video, and then make sure you have the correct input and output device and the proper permissions.
Settings, Discord.
Yeah. And you guys, yeah, I fired up the live because I know we were 8 minutes late. And I just wanted to show you guys what was going on here, but rest assured, we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out for day 11.
I just downloaded Discord also.
Yeah, it's gonna be a slight learning curve, but I guess, does anyone in chat want to drop a exact play-by-play on how to get Tommy's mic and everything to work? He can't hear me and he can't talk. So, and bear with us, you guys. We're gonna have a good show today, but we got to get this figured out. Believe it or not, Tommy does not use Discord very much, nor do I. So, but yeah, how's everyone in chat doing, man? How's everybody in chat doing? I'm feeling good. Just got back from the gym. Did a great back workout. Day 11 here, going strong, feeling good. But I'll tell you, this Juggalo Patreon cut is a disaster, man. It is a disaster, and you'll see why when you watch it. It's a great reminder as to why I'm on the right path here, and I should not be being out of my mind. But yeah, you'll see that. But I probably have that for you guys tomorrow. Have Tommy restart Discord and the output and input devices are connected correctly. Yeah, do you want to just close out of Discord and then rejoin the thing, and I'll drag you in, Tom?
Do you have my username is Tommy3183?
Yeah, Tommy G is the username.
Because I'm on my computer. Let's see, on my computer now. I'm online. It would be easiest just to do webcam and computer.
Yeah.
Friends.
So we're gonna try to get Tommy to switch over to his computer, but we're trying. We are trying.
Why is it? I can't find anybody on this. I can't find.
So yeah, if you're on your Discord on your computer, go in on the left side. You should be able to see the Buckingham show.
No.
No?
No.
Maybe you have a different username. What's your new or
Tommy G3183.
Tommy G3183.
Are you throwing up a hand symbol with a bunch of books in my hands?
I don't see anything, man. This is yeah, sorry for not getting this figured out beforehand. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'll send you an invite, Tommy G. Send friend request. So I just sent you a friend request to Tommy G3183. It should appear in your pending. If you click it, you should see Brandon Buckingham, and you should be able to join. We got the top tier Kino Discord technical difficulty content.
Okay, I just got you as a friend.
You just got me as a friend. Cool.
Yeah.
And then we are gonna invite you via DM to the Discord. Let's see. Man, it's making me feel old.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tommy G. All got down. Yeah, how's everyone in chat doing? How is everybody in chat doing? We are doing our best. About to fire this up. I just didn't want to go, 10, 15 minutes without starting the stream and you guys not know what's going on. But we're about to be in there. We're about to be in it.
I just joined. I hopped into the server.
All right, you hopped in. Where are you? Join the Slam Zone or the call-in waiting room. And let me know. There you are. Boom. All right. Can you hear me? Oh, what happened, Tom? Can you hear me?
Join voice, join camera.
What in the hell, dude? Why is it doing that? Yo. All right, dude. Am I missing something?
Can you hear me?
When I drag you in, it makes you leave right away. Are we good? Tom?
Hold on, let me hang
I
up.
can hear you. Boom. All right. God damn,
Can you hear
bud. What in the hell? Am I doing something wrong? It keeps kicking you out. I don't understand why. Do I need to make you a oh my god, dude. I'm about to make him a mod. Come on, man. Sorry about this, guys. Doing my best, trying my best. Going to make him an admin. And now I should be able to... Alright. Maybe this works. Hopefully it won't kick you. Now you're an admin. I don't know why it's kicking you anyways. Your mic is muted, Tom. Can you unmute your mic? It should be right below on the bottom of your screen. If you see the big red button that says disconnect, it should be to the left. You are currently muted. Can you unmute? Oh, man. I don't know. Guys, am I doing something wrong? Maybe we just can't have Tommy do calls. Maybe I just need to call him directly because this is disastrous here. Can you hear me, Tom? Dude, what is going on? All right, let me look at chat here. Do you guys have any idea? Do you guys have any idea what's going on? This should be the new stream. 30-year-old boomers try to solve Discord. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm pretty sure if you pour water on your computer, it will cool it down and connect your mic. That's a great idea. This is awesome. He's leaving me because of his connection. Just put him on speakerphone, my guy. Windows problems. Yeah, this is. You'd think a wise man would figure this out beforehand, but we're having some serious trouble. Are you clicking anything when it's disconnecting you, or is it automatically doing it?
Brandon,
Yes.
every goddamn time I try and join, it kicks me out right away.
Well, we have some success right now, so maybe just don't press anything. Don't turn your camera on, and we'll just run it like this. How about that?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Whoo. Without further ado, you guys, we are joined by the one and only Tommy G. I'll give you a short introduction of how I met him. We first started talking in April of 2021, shared interest of jiu-jitsu and YouTube, ended up going out to Milwaukee. I think in June of 2021, we filmed the Knockout Challenge where we offered people $200 to try to knock us out, and we had to take them down. We filmed sus rapping in the most dangerous hood of Milwaukee, and we filmed wrestling in Walmart. And yeah, that was the first time we collabed. Since then, he has gone on to gain over 1 million subscribers and become one of the leading boots on the ground journalists on YouTube. That's pretty much my intro. And yeah, Tommy, I think we should just get right into your YouTube journey, because I'm sure from the outside looking in, people think it was really easy, but I know the truth tells a bit of a different story. So do you want to just start from the beginning?
Yeah, so I started my YouTube career as, well, I made a jackass video when I was in high school or middle school where I jumped out of trees and got weed whackers to the leg and nailed my ear to a board. I was really inspired by the Dudesons and Jackass, and then I became a rapper, which you guys have probably been to one of my shows. I've sold out many arenas as a rapper these days. So
Yep.
I started rapping, and then it led me to the prank world. And I think the first thing I want to highlight on this journey of life is that things can pivot, things can move, and you don't think that the moment that you're in sets yourself up for the next moment, but looking back, it almost always does if you use it the right way. And so the prank chapter, this is why it was really important in my life. One, it made me consistent and I learned how to edit. So as soon as COVID hit and we got locked down, I was like, well, fuck that. I'm going to get a laptop and I'm going to learn how to edit. Because before that, I was letting an editor always bottleneck the process. And I would want to put out a video a week, but I put out a video a month because the editor didn't care as much as I did to get this thing out. So I think controlling the process is really important in whatever craft it is. And that's why guys if you're a rapper that can record yourself in the studio, it's going to be a lot easier than if you have to always go to a studio. If you're a YouTuber that can edit yourself, you're always going to have control of the process. And
It's kind of like a
In this
rely on
prank,
yourself to be reliable situation, right?
yes, yes, indeed. And in this prank journey, what I was doing was I was working in the corporate world by day, going to the hoodiest of the hood in Milwaukee, selling payroll services to small businesses, and and then at night I would do pranks on the weekends and edit and get ready to go. And Brandon, you and I were in a similar position. I remember it was December 2 years ago where we were both sub 100K, and we thought this was not for us. We were considering quitting. We thought, whatever reason, we were not going to make it, and it was really disheartening. And I switched to documentaries. I had done documentary style adventures without ever filming them as I was a kid and a college kid. I went to Costa Rica and Guatemala and Peru and all sorts of places where I was just exploring. And I lived in the jungle at one point, and I always wanted to do kind of what Vice did. I thought Vice was the rawest, coolest type of documentaries on the internet, and I always felt a pull to do something like that. And so I made a list of ideas that can change my life, and I started hitting on them. They were jumping out of a plane while eating the world's spiciest chip, and first time going to a strip club, and filming the Kia Boys. And a lot of them bombed. A lot of them didn't do so good. And I thought, you know what? Like, I think I'm just not that guy. For whatever reason, it's not the path for me. And it was very frustrating, especially when I was looking around on YouTube and seeing people put in, I felt like a fraction of the effort and zero of the originality. Like you see people that just copy other people's channels and they were thriving. I was like, holy shit, like what is wrong in this? Like I just, whatever. I thought that I wasn't ever going to break through.
Yeah, and it's
But
hard to not think like that when we're doing it for, I mean, multiple years, and all it has done is been a gigantic money pit, just a giant money dump and limited success.
yeah, Brandon, can you disclose to the audience, were you making much money as a YouTuber with 80,000 subscribers?
Oh, dude, I was killing it, man. I was like a year and a half in, and about $20,000 in the hole, 15 to $20,000
Hmm.
in the hole. So I mean, it was really paying off, big time.
Yeah, you were hitting the big leagues, and as I was too. I think after paying the editor and the cameraman, um, I think I was actually like losing about $25 a week or $50 a week. So I was balling. I was probably at the Louis Vuitton store quite often in that period of my life.
Mm-hmm. Turn my swag on. So,
Yes, but something beautiful happened, which is I was like, you know what? I don't even really care about these pranks anymore. I want to do something new, and I just went for it. I was really nervous. Like, hey, 80,000 people on the internet know me for pranks. If I just all of a sudden turn to documentaries, how is this possibly not going to be career suicide? But I was at this point where I was like, you know what? Either it's going to work or I'm going to probably just retire from this altogether. I launched the Kia Boy documentary, and oh boy, overnight it was a sensation. And I had news channels from all over the country hitting me up and asking me about it and asking me to use the footage. And that's when I knew that I was on the path.
yeah, I
And
remember that, man.
so,
That was a crazy time. I remember you calling me when it had hit like 100,000 views, and you were saying that like news channels wanted you to come on, and just all this insane stuff was happening. And then, boom! Flash forward to a year later, this video has 7.1 million views.
it's absurd. I really didn't think anyone would care either. I thought, oh, a bunch of teenagers in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's one of those towns that no one cares about. It's forgotten. It's not LA. It's not Chicago. It's not New York. So I thought no one would really give a shit. But it caught, and then ever since then, me and my team have been on the road, chasing after some of the most audacious ideas and interesting communities and places that are hard to access, and we've been pedal to the metal. So it's been a beautiful journey, and I think if anything can be summarized from the journey, that there's no magic bullet in life, but if you have persistence, like man, it's gonna get you somewhere. You just gotta keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, I mean, how would you, looking back now that you kind of have broken through to the other side, how would you feel if you would have quit when you had
Oh
80,000
man.
subscribers and made zero money from it?
I think I would be sitting in a cubicle somewhere, staring at the wall, wondering what the hell I was doing with my life. And now that I'm on this other side of the table, it's like, dude, like this is my dream job. I've never been happier, something worthwhile. I feel fantastic. And yes, there's challenges and hurdles and ups and downs, but I would have like if I could go back in the past, and if I was thinking about quitting, I would slap myself in the face and get myself back in gear.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great testament to you only really lose if you quit, because we were both in similar positions. We both didn't stop and we both persevered. And it's also interesting to note that we had different entries into YouTube. You know, you kept a full-time job while pursuing your passion on the side in your free time, which is very difficult to do. I quit my job entirely and dove headfirst into the whole thing and threw away my career, but it worked out for both of us. And I think that's a great example of you just got to find your path. There isn't one way to do it. And I think if you look at the way we've done things, I don't think you could say one of us did it right and one of us did it wrong, right?
The other thing is your journey is always going to be unique, and that's the beauty of life is every chapter you get to write that chapter, and then it segues into the next piece. And so I think you kind of be. I remember one of my favorite wrestling coaches telling me, you got to be like a horse with your blinders on. You're when you're running your race, you can't be looking around at what the other horses are doing. You just got to stay on the path and stay very focused. Otherwise, you're going to get off course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great analogy, man. I remember my coach telling me the predator versus prey mindset. Predators have their eyes in the front of the head; they're looking at where they're going. Prey, they're stuck in place in fear, looking around at everything, and then escaping. So
Yeah.
similar
One
concepts.
other thing I would say to the folks out there is to really just laugh at the gurus that you hear on TikTok. Like I was listening to this guy the other day. He's like, I wake up at 4 a.m. Me and my wife, we do 72 minutes of cardio. Then we meditate. Then I read a book. Then I like it's like shut the fuck up. Like that stuff. Like there's no like hack. There's no way to like. Yes, a routine is good. Having discipline is good. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. to be a winner in this world. You can do life. You can beat your own drum, beat your own course, and the gurus out there that are trying to sucker you into buying their course and to imitate their life, they're all full of shit. Most of them are.
You mean I shouldn't join the Creativity Kit and clip someone else's content full time to blow up on my own?
Yes, that's exactly right, Mr. Buckingham. And I think a book I would recommend to people is Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield.
Mm-hmm.
That book, along with The War of Art, is something that I think in the creative journey, I revisit at least once a year, and just it's kind of like a little Bible of the creative journey. And I think there's gonna be times when you're out on this journey and it feels like you're in the middle of the ocean without a life vest and you're just searching for the shore. And little books like that or conversations with friends who are on a similar path to me are the buoys that kept me afloat during the really, really tough times.
Yeah, man, that's a super good point. And I wonder, do you think that anything was holding you back in the early stages of your YouTube career that you kind of overcame, or can you pinpoint something like that?
Well, I didn't fully commit to the path until I got fired. And I had been journaling at this point, like, I will quit my job by March 15th. And I got fired on February 7th. So I was telling myself I was going to do it, but I just didn't really have the balls to quit when I knew I kind of should have. And so getting fired allowed me to fully commit to the journey. And then that's when things started to really happen. Like 2 or 3 months after I got fired, things really, really started to change and really, really started to blow up. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that's the universe's way of kind of rewarding you on the path. But that is, I don't know. There's interesting things happen when you burn the boat, so to speak. When you give yourself no other option but to chase the dream.
Yeah, man. I think that's a great point. And kind of harkening back to what you said about turning pro and the war on art, we have a lot of people that have called into the show that are having trouble just getting started on their path. And I think those are two books that really help you kick into gear and just start being productive. Because there's this thing where if you try to be too creative, it's going to limit your productivity. But if you try to be too productive, you're not going to have any creativity. And you got to find a fine line. What are some things that have helped you kind of work within those confines of being creative and also productive.
Yeah, I think you hit on the yin and yang of the pursuit, which is like some of the most talented people I've ever seen were on the creative side didn't have any discipline, and so they never went anywhere. Like I know guys that should have been national champion wrestlers that instead like drank themselves out of the picture, just had a 30 rack to themselves and ate red velvet cake, and their name isn't in the history books. Uh, and then so yeah, there's a level of discipline and creativity. I guess how to uh, say it though.
So
Everything is a
so
balance.
what I notice what you do is you are regimented. Ever since I've known you, you've been regimented far more than myself, and it's something I super applaud you for, man. Like I just visited Tommy last month, and he gets up early. He goes, you walk your dog. We even went on a swim in a freezing cold lake at 8 in the morning and ran steps, and that's something that you will do, regardless of if you feel like it, right? You set yourself a standard to live up to, and then you stick to it, right?
Yeah, well, I think this falls for everybody, but I know especially me personally, my body, I have to exercise my body for my mind to be in the right place. And if I go even a couple of days without exercising, I don't feel good, my mind's not good. So I think everything is connected. So you just have to take care of yourself in a few different ways. You have to make the time to be creative. You have to make the time to take care of the tasks because I think a lot of creatives that they let the little tasks take them away, like the things that they need to do, like the bookkeeping or the taking notes or the little organizational tasks. They don't do that, and then they're kind of like a train wreck, and that's why like a lot of big rappers, like really behind the scenes, it's their managers running everything because they have like they don't. We know big rappers that they don't even know what they're doing tomorrow. Their
Mm-hmm.
manager tells them when they wake up. And I think like you might get big enough that you can get to that point where you have that luxury of someone else running your life, but I think it's important to run your own life, and so you have to. But then on the flip side, if you're too in the details, you don't give yourself enough time to let your brain wander. Like for me, it's taking walks. I have some of the best thoughts and ideas when I go take a walk, when I do something that's kind of slow. You have to give yourself time to do both.
Yeah, so I think sometimes not obsessing and focusing so much on having to be creative and just like going on a walk, being in nature, things will come to you. I feel like it's hard to force creativity out, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's almost like ideas are just alive in the world, and if you put yourself in the right position, you might be lucky enough that they float into your head. But if you don't act on it, it'll float into someone else's head and they will.
Yeah, man. And as time goes on, do you think that the YouTube landscape is going to get less competitive or more competitive?
I don't know, because I guess I'm trying to figure out the work ethic of the latest generations. I think there's always going to be the hustlers of every era, and then there's going to be a lot of people that say they want to do it but don't really put in the work. I think YouTube is going to be around for years to come. I don't see it ever going away. But I really do think that anyone who dedicates themselves towards a niche, hey, I want to be the guy that does guitar instructional videos, or hey, I'm the guy that takes you fishing. Whatever it is, if you dedicate to a niche and get good at producing your content and you put it out consistently, it's hard to think of somebody that loses after doing that for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that consistency is very key. And something I like that you have done, especially when I first met you, is you kind of asked me like what my goals were. Like I think you just have a really good sense of identity and where you want to go. And I feel that if you don't have those things in place in your life, you don't know what your goals are, you don't know what your priorities are. It's just really easy to get lost and be confused and to be stagnant. And ever since I've met you, you've had those things in line. Do you think those things
Hmm.
have helped you massively in your career?
Yeah, I think it's given yourself the places to think. Like I'm just reading some of the comments coming in. Like one kid said, "My best ideas come when I poop," and that is a good place to think too. Sometimes it's in the shower, sometimes it's on a walk. But the thing that we have to struggle against in this era of the world is always being distracted. Always I can't even you can't even eat food without watching a YouTube video. You can't even, sit down and have a conversation with your family without having the TV on. Like you have to set yourself times of, I guess you could say, boredom, where your brain can wander. And I think that's really important. And then as far as the identity piece, one is I think going out and trying a lot of things. You might, if you cook a lot of different foods and you explore a lot of new places and you read a lot of books, eventually you start to figure out who you are and what you're made of and what is unique about your identity. And I think journaling backs that up. When you can write your own thoughts on paper, it becomes real. I really do think that thoughts become things.
Yeah, yeah, especially when you either speak them into existence or write them into existence. Um, so if someone was watching this right now and they are saying, "Man, I want to be a YouTuber. I love what you do, Tommy. I just feel like I can't." What would you say? What would you say to that
I would
person?
say, dude, there are people living off of 50 cents a day, living in huts made out of mud and poop that are making things happen out there. You can really do anything. And yes, you might need some startup money. You might need to save up for a camera. But how many of us are going out every Friday, every Saturday and drinking at the bar or buying an eighth of weed, a quad of weed? Like, you will make it a priority what you want to do in this life.
Hmm.
And so if your big holdup is that you need a nice camera, a nice editing software, are you willing to forego things that you like to do that are extra that are kind of, I don't know if you would say it's a luxury thing to be able to go to a club or go drink at a bar. I would say so, but can you forego that for 5 weeks to save up for your what's going to make your dream come true? I mean, I think it is when you really stack it out. Hey, where if I live this way, the way that I'm currently living for the next 10 years, where am I going to end up? Or if I change path and dedicate myself, where can my life be? It's a no-brainer. You do not want to be an old man on the deathbed thinking like, Jesus Christ, I really wasted this unique experience of life. You want to really embrace it.
Yeah, man. And on that tip of people, did I get people tell me all the time, I want to start YouTube, but I don't have the equipment. Most of my most viewed videos were filmed on an iPhone or on a GoPro. So I have a Black Magic that I put thousands of dollars into, and I don't think I think I'm yet to film an episode on my Black Magic that got upwards of like 700,000 views. So my most viewed things are literally filmed on shitty cameras because you just can't let things like that limit you, man. If you have a way to do things, start doing it, and don't make excuses and wait, because a good camera is not going to make you a better editor. A good camera is not going to make you more entertaining on camera. A good camera is not going to help you tell stories. A good camera is not going to help you connect with people. But actually practicing and trying it will. And would you say you have a similar thing, Tommy? Have you noticed a correlation between, oh yeah, I bought a nice camera and then it all came together?
No, but I will say like
Quality's nice.
allocating money. Yeah, to me, like it's hard for me to spend money sometimes. So spending like, hey, $2,000 or $3,000 on a camera to me is an act of commitment that kind of forces me to follow with other action.
Yeah. Yeah, but of course, once you get the ball rolling, it's great to reinvest. And just like, I already know the answer, but just like me, wouldn't you say that as you've made money in this YouTube game, a large portion of it has gone to reinvesting into equipment, editors, traveling, trips, all that stuff?
Always, always. But I just want to encourage people too, like the minimalist setup can really be successful too. Like a guy that's in a somewhat similar space to me and Brandon is a gentleman named Peter Santinello.
Hmm.
He goes around places with a GoPro on a selfie stick, and I know his wife does the editing, and it's good editing, but it's not like fancy, anything like ridiculous that you need to go to film school for 30 years to figure out how to do. And he has a massively successful channel, and his impact is fantastic too. Like he just helped the Amish guy build either a barn or a church. I forget which it was, but off the strength of his video. So like you don't need to like Mr. I think the Mr. Beast world sometimes makes people think that they need all these resources to get going, but you really need a camera and a dream. And another example of a minimalist creator that's fantastic is Ryan Trahan.
Hmm.
And like that sets up a GoPro anywhere in the world that can tell a story and people watch.
Yeah, man. The Mr. Beastification of YouTube has made people think that you have to do things a certain way. Not to say that he's doing a bad thing or that you shouldn't do Mr. Beast-esque videos, but that's just only one approach to doing things. You know, I don't think there's very many thumbnails you could find of Tommy and I where we're doing the mouth open, soy scream face. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
The
funny.
clickbait only lasts so long.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people put so much effort into making a video, but then put barely any effort into the packaging of the video. Could you speak a little bit about the value of titles and thumbnails?
I do think that's highly important because you're competing for attention, and there is all sorts of great creators that are on the platform. And so I do think of a lot of videos of like, I know the concept, but I gotta know the title of what it's gonna be before I even start it, just so I know that I can package it and put it out. And thumbnails are everything too. I have a guy, I think he's Russian. I'm guessing by the kind of the letters that are in his emails.
He rocks.
Um, he rocks, and this like finding him was a huge blessing because he just took things to the next level. And so yes, title and thumbnails are extremely important. There's I think a very small amount of creators that can get away with very weak thumbnails. I think there are established creators that already have a very loyal audience. And I would say the only caveat to that is make sure your thumbnail and title lives up to what's actually in the video. Because if you bullshit your people, it's they're gonna lose interest after a video or two because they can't trust you as a creator.
Yeah, and audience trust is massive, but we live in a sensationalized society where if you don't get someone to click on your video, it doesn't matter if you have the best video in the world. You need to get those clicks, but at the same time, you get them to click, you underdeliver, they're not going to want to click again, and then you know
Yes.
people are going to see you and be like, "Oh, this fucking guy again."
Yeah, it's
So
very important to deliver.
yeah, and then I guess on the tip of you know, friends in the creator space, it isn't everything, but I do think it is important. How much value would you put on having like-minded people around you that you can relate to and talk to about, you know, having similar values and goals?
It's incredibly important because I think, okay, let's just put yourselves in the shoe of a wrestler that wants to be a national champion. It doesn't really make sense to make friends with the guy that's playing tennis. Like you want the other guy that's chasing a national title, that's understands the struggle and the dynamics that go into what you're doing. And having friends in the creator space has been immensely helpful. I mean, there's been so many calls to guys like Brandon Buckingham or Jordan Welch, or recently guys like Andrew Callahan. We're just like, this is a unique world to navigate, and it's very helpful to be able to talk to people that see some of the same things and that understand it and that offer a nice perspective. So, I mean, being friends with you on the internet and off the internet has been really, really helpful for just sounding things out and figuring things out.
Yeah, man, and we're two people that we became friends when we weren't that big. So it's not like you have to look for people that have 1 million subscribers to be friends with or 100,000. I mean, I think when we met, I had 20K and you had like 50K or something. So you can,
Yeah, it's about who is on the path. You want to just like if you're both trying to get to the top of the mountain, and even if you're closer to the beginning of the journey, that's a good person to go out with, you know?
yeah, absolutely. And then I wanted to also talk about martial arts. We have very similar experiences, and we got a college degree. We wrestled. We got into rapping, and then got into YouTube and ended up
Mhm.
leaving our job. But I think the most common thing that connects us as friends, I think, is wrestling, man. When I really think about it, how much does wrestling mean to you?
Wrestling is the single greatest influence in my life. I began wrestling when I was 10 and I loved it instantly. And it's a sport that just creates so much discipline and perseverance and grit in a person that it allows you to withstand a lot of the tough pitfalls that will inevitably come in your journey. And so I think, man, I give so much credit to the wrestling world for my success in life. Would you say similarly, Brandon?
Yeah, man, learning how to win, learning how to lose, learning how to get better. I mean, wrestling taught me how to deal with failure, dude, and how to turn the losses into a lesson, and it took me a while wrestling to actually get that down pat. But wrestling can be the things you learn in wrestling can be applied to all things in life, whether it's relationships, career stuff, mentality. And it doesn't have to be wrestling, but that's what it is for us. And I think that martial arts provide immense value. I mean, absolutely immense. And the whole time you've been on this journey, Tom, um, you have been doing jujitsu and wrestling, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's what keeps my mind in the right place. I think I honestly would be a crazy person and a much worse version of myself if I didn't regularly go to the gym.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many times where we talk, and you might be a little frustrated or something's on your mind, and then you go, you hit the mats, and the next thing you know, we talk, and you're like, man, I just feel grateful, and I feel happy, and I feel a reduce in the stress.
Yes, 100%.
And you guys got to have, or we all have to have positive outlets like that. I mean, take note of what I've been doing this year, man. I was absolutely self sabotaging for the majority of this year, and now I'm just finally getting back to the basics and to what made me happy to begin with, which is taking care of my health and taking care of wrestling. Taking care of you get what I'm saying. I fucked my words up, but um, so Tommy, I know you're someone that has dealt with loss in the past.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you could share about? You don't have to say what loss you've encountered unless you'd like to. But could you speak on productive ways to cope with maybe losing a loved one?
Yeah, so I lost my pop. That's what I call my dad. I lost my pop when I was a senior in high school, and I don't think I really handled it in a productive way. I was so focused that year on being a state champion, and I got to go to college and I had these new experiences that I kind of distracted myself from dealing with the grief for a long time. And it was just in my probably like 6 or 7 years after it happened that I really faced it and I started journaling about it and just like it was like a ton of emotion was just built up and like there was a lot of crying, a lot of just things were let out and it was a very healing moment. And I guess what can I say about experiencing grief? I think it's better in life to confront things head on. Otherwise, there's kind of an analogy of the dragon under the bed, and it starts off small, but it grows bigger and bigger the longer you let it sit. And I think running away from tough emotions is not a good long-term thing to do.
Yeah, and do you feel like whenever you actually did start to cope and address the things that were making you upset, do you feel like it started to get better, or was it getting better the more you ignored it and swallowed it?
Well, I guess like I still was having a good life outside of it. I think it's important to that was an important thing for me to be able to look at it in its eyes and process it. And I finally gave it its due to do that. And it was a very good experience because my pop gave me an awful lot. And my pop he was incredibly supportive. He was the type of pop that there was no pressure to, hey, like I was a lawyer, you need to be a lawyer. I played basketball, you need to play basketball. He let us, I'm a triplet, so I had the two other siblings. He let us discover our interests and then just encouraged it. And he was a wonderful guy. Like he was a guy that worked his ass off during the week. And I didn't understand how hard he worked until I got older when you're an adult and you realize what a burden it is to carry the weight of a family on your shoulders. But like he would spend his free time. Sometimes we'd go to wrestling tournaments on Saturday and Sunday, and he'd be in the bleachers all day. His back would be hurting, but he never complained. We'd wake up at 5:30. I don't know if you remember this back in the day when with wrestling tournaments, but you wake up early, you drive before the sun got up. It was in the middle of winter, so there's no sunlight. You weigh in, you wait for the tournament to start, and it would take all day and he sacrificed an awful lot, and so I have a lot to live up to, big shoes to fill when I am a dad and my kid is doing his thing.
And when you do get down about your dad, because I have a lot of trouble with dealing with my brother, and sometimes I tell myself like, I'm gonna be twice as productive now because I want to live a life that he'll enjoy watching, or make him proud. Are there any things that you've tell yourself that help motivate you if you do, find yourself getting a little melancholy about the losses you've endured?
Hmm. Yeah, I think conducting yourself in a way that would make them proud. And I think a lot of that just has to do with conducting yourself honestly and with integrity and in a way that you can be proud of who you are and who you've become. And but I think the other thing that I've really, more so than anything, it's being grateful for the people that have invested into you and made your life what it is. And because my mom was still alive, I can really I really take the time to tell her what a good mom she was and appreciate what she did for me because I didn't get that opportunity with my pop. I didn't have this perspective that I do now. I never really got the chance to thank him properly, and that's something that does hurt a little bit.
Yeah, man. Um, could you touch a little bit on regret? So you started a YouTube channel in the prank category and then shifted to the
Mm.
documentary category. You started out in wrestling with the ultimate goal of being an All-American and ultimately did not reach it. Just because the things that you had wanted didn't turn out how you had wanted them to, do you regret trying to do them?
Hmm. Not at all. I mean, especially with wrestling, like an award that I was pretty proud to get and that I was in the running for the last 3 years I was in college was that I got my senior year was hardest worker in the room. And so I really left it all out there. I was the guy that was up early. I was getting extra workouts in. I was eating the right way. I wasn't partying. I was doing everything in a way to become a champion. And so when I didn't become one, it hurt, definitely, but I don't have any regrets in that. But as far as what regrets do I have? A regret that I have is how I treated my brother when I was growing up. I teased him an awful lot, and it was easy for me to make friends and it wasn't easy for him to make friends. And sometimes instead of being inviting, like I could have been, I think I just wanted my own space and I wanted my individuality. I mean, growing up as a triplet, you're always surrounded by your siblings and competing. So I think I just wanted my own space. But looking back, I just wish I was uh, a lot more of a welcoming and kind brother, especially in a certain chapter of our life. But around the high school time, we patched things up, and I think things have been really good since. But you just don't realize sometimes, I don't know, the damage you can do to somebody, or like how much words can hurt, or how much something that seems little can grow over time. And you never want to be that on somebody's life. You never want to be the person that didn't make someone feel welcome or didn't make someone feel good. And so that was definitely, but that's probably one of the main regrets I could think of in my life.
Yeah, man, and although you regret that, I mean, I think it's cool that you've made amends with your brother and made things better. But I think it's really powerful to note. You and I both wrestled every year in college, put so much time and effort into it. You were the captain of your team, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We're both captains of the team. We both beat countless All Americans. We're both ranked in the nation, and ultimately, we did not reach our goal, which was to All American. But neither of us regret trying to All American, and neither of us regret the effort we put in. And why do you not regret it? I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure you're going to have a similar answer. But I don't regret trying to All American and failing because I did my best, and I did it. I did really good, and all I could do was my best, and I'm proud of doing my best. So when I look back, I don't look back like with a negative outlook on it. Yeah, how do you
Yeah.
look back and
And
think about that?
to be honest, it has nothing to, life isn't about the accomplishments. It's not about, oh, this many subscribers, or I took this place in this tournament, or I won this many matches. It is all about the journey. I think that's what you realize when you get older is you're never going to achieve happiness by achieving a thing. And that's why there's people that have been lead singers of bands that sell out arenas that still hang themselves because it doesn't matter if you're doing a show for 10 people or 100,000 people. If you gear your success off the numbers and the accomplishment, you're never going to actually be happy. But if you enjoy the little moments of the journey along the way, that's how you become at peace and happy.
Yeah, man. And here's another really good question that I mean I had this in my mind when I first started, and it's really funny how true it is. How different is the process of going out, filming, and editing videos from when you first started to now when you have a million? Obviously, you have easier access to resources, and people want to be on your channel and they see more value in you. But the actual act of getting the camera, talking to people, filming, and editing it, how much does that really change when you have 1,000 subscribers and when you have a million?
Not much at all. I mean, it is the same process. I think the difference now is that my team is now a well-oiled machine, and we get in there, we know what we're doing. I would say we're professionals now. Like maybe at the beginning of the journey, we were more hungry amateurs, which is a good stage to be as well. But overall, the project is similar. And there's another way of saying this. Like in sales, whether you're closing $1,000 deal or a $50,000 deal, they usually require the same amount of work, the same amount of paperwork, negotiations. And so the scale has gotten bigger, but really the process has stayed the same.
And I think that's really, really important for you guys to hear and to keep in mind, because so many people tell me that they feel like they can't do YouTube because no one's going to want to talk to them, or they feel like it's so much easier when you get a bigger channel, which it is a bit easier, but dude, the process is the same. I still have to go gather footage, find interesting stories, come back and edit it. So do not let it be like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy of like, oh, I'm not big now, so I'll never be big, because the process remains the same. And I think that's really important. And Tommy's at 1 million subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and the video that set it off, the Kia Boys, he filmed that when he only had 80,000, right? So it's just I just think it's just really important to remember that you can do it. And I guess my last question before, I know you're gonna have to go here pretty soon, Tom, and I'd like to ask a few people in chat to just type out some questions.
Oh, Brandon, I actually have however much time you need, I'm good for today.
Oh, okay. So, um, I want to ask. What was I going to ask?
I want to hit on something you were saying.
Yeah,
Is the prince? I
yeah,
think a lot of people are afraid to get started, um, but you have to think about the principle of momentum. The hardest part is the inertia of getting started. And it's just like anything. Like, let's say you're overweight, you're 300 pounds, you haven't been to a gym in 2 years. The hardest part is the first time going to the gym. After you've been going to the gym to a month, it becomes easier and easier and easier as things go on. And same thing with real estate. It's the hardest property to buy is your first one. But then the momentum that the first one creates, you buy your second, your third, your fourth. It just, that's how life works. And you have to decide for yourself. Are you going to start the momentum and get it pushing? Or are you going to remain at zero? And I think everyone deep in their heart wants to get things cooking.
yeah, yeah. And we got to hop off that treadmill, man. We got to hop off that little loop of stagnation and take that first step. I think that first step is the biggest thing. Yeah, I think this is a really important question, man, because in the society we live in a comparative society where everyone's looking at each other and everyone's thinking the grass is always greener, and everyone thinks, we worship celebrities and all that. Have you met any YouTubers that you were just like absolutely wowed that how incredible they were? Or is it really like everyone is pretty normal people that have just taken a series of steps to get to where they're at? Or do you meet YouTubers where you're like, oh my God, this guy has an intangible skill that I could never have?
No, I mean, everyone is fairly normal at the end of the day, but there are people that impress me, and I do think like a part of becoming strong is realizing what's unique about yourself and emphasizing that. And there's some people that I've really been impressed with. Like Jordan Welch is a very wise guy, especially wise beyond his years. Like he's offered me a lot of great advice, and I like the way he thinks as a businessman. Um, I know this is funny to say that he's a YouTuber, but Sammy the Bull, the Mafia hitman, like he is a an interesting guy to sit across from the table with. And he just has even though I think in his early 70s, he still has the air of like he's not someone to be trifled with. And so I do think that the people that are big, there is something remarkable about them oftentimes, but like at the end of the day, they are a normal person uh, that it's possible for you to be as well. It's not like there's a barrier to entry that they have that you don't. They
Yeah.
just have leaned into their own unique side.
Yeah, how many people do you know that tried to be a YouTuber and failed? How many people do you know that tried to be a comedian and failed? Because I think 99.9% of them are going to X themselves out before they ever get started. So yeah, it's not very likely because most people shoot themselves in the foot before they ever start. But
Hmm.
if you could seriously look at yourself in the mirror and say, "Man, I know hundreds of people that tried to do YouTube 40 hours a week for multiple years and didn't make it," um, then
Yeah, I can't really think of anybody in
to
that
each your
category.
own. But everyone I know that tried and followed the plan and followed the route and reevaluated, changed lanes and did all that, they've made it, man. So I just really would caution you to listen. Don't listen to the people who say, "Oh, well, it's not very likely." Yeah, well, it's going to be really not likely if you never try. I mean, what the hell? I know that seems obvious, but dude, a bug just hit me in the face. But yeah, man, how many people really try? I know for me in my personal life here in Carroll County, Maryland, I don't know any YouTubers that started where when I started or before I started and have continued and aren't successful. Everyone I know that did try, they did it a little bit and then quit.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment. I have nothing to say that's not in line with what you just said.
Yeah. Well, man, I guess before we open it up to questions, are there any closing statements you'd like to give about your journey and just the path you've taken and where you're at?
Something that really helps me and especially helped me on the journey that before things really started to feel successful is reading the lives of people that have really gone there and done that. And I just saw in the comments, read The Alchemist, fantastic book. Would definitely recommend that. But also reading about the greats in history, like guys like Teddy Roosevelt and Benjamin Franklin and Malcolm X. And if you're talking about modern era people, guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who he climbed to the top of the bodybuilding world, the acting world, the political world. And those people give me excitement and strength because everyone started out with a body that looks average, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to turn it into a work of art that's has so many muscles you can't even believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everyone starts from zero. It's where you want to take it from there.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll ask this one last question before we're about to open it up to viewer questions. Right now, Tommy G, it is October 11th, 2023. You're at 1 million subscribers. What are your current goals and objectives for the future?
I want to be one of the most undeniable documentary channels on YouTube. I want to bring people together. I want to unite people. I want to show people that the mainstream media narrative that we somehow hate each other, dislike each other, is mostly wrong. And I want to show the people that really don't have a voice or that are maybe hard to access or their story isn't covered often. I want to do a great job of telling their story in a fair and dynamic way.
Hell yeah, man. I love that. So before we open it up to viewer questions, could you do me a favor? Are you on your computer?
Yes.
Could you go down in the bottom left corner to user settings and click that little gear?
Let's see. Let me log back.
If you
Click
click,
that
if you
the little gear.
it
Yep.
should open up your account. If you scroll down, you're going to see user settings, billing settings, app settings, and in app settings. It's the third one down. You should see something called notifications.
Holy shit. In-app settings.
Yeah, appearance, accessibility, voice and video, text and images, notifications.
I don't see. Okay, okay, okay.
So if you click
Uh,
notifications,
yeah.
turn off sounds. So if you scroll down a little bit, or really when you open it up, you should see at the bottom of your screen sounds, and you can turn off. You can check disable all notification sounds. So then we won't hear that.
Okay, okay.
We won't hear
Yes, I
that.
just.
Do do do.
Okay. Yes, that's good. That's
Um.
good.
So. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that good part, that first part was great, man. And I think you're a big inspiration, a great friend, and I think it's beautiful that we both co-inspire each other and have been on this journey together, man. And I'm really thankful to know you. So as you guys
Likewise.
know, we have Tommy G on the phone right now. I want to open this up to viewer questions. So if you guys are watching this right now, drop a question in chat. I'll read your question out, and then Tommy and I will give our best answers, or just Tommy will give your best answers. So let's get into that. And I appreciate all you guys for being here. So let's see. What was your favorite documentary to film, Tommy?
I would say, as of recent, it was interviewing the human smugglers on the border of Texas and Mexico, just because what we got, the people we got access to, and how many, like, we got to include everyone that was involved in the story, from law enforcement to the smugglers to the immigrants to the townspeople. It just felt like we just, everything lined up, and we also just were in the right place at the right time where we got to witness incredible things. We got to witness people actually crossing the border, actually getting arrested, and actually going to a safe house where people are kept. And so that to me is like, okay, we accomplished what we needed to do, and we went deeper than uh, where most people go. And that's the type of things I want to bring to my audience.
Yeah, this is the video you posted 4 weeks ago, right? On the
Yes.
border. So check that out if you guys are interested. All right, we got Danny Finch donated $5 and said, Tommy G, great and valuable wisdom for the fans. How do you deal with the pressure? You've been in dangerous neighborhoods, Mexico, etc. Thanks again.
Well, thank you. How do I deal with the pressure? I feel like this is kind of what I'm built for, and that this is just I'm my natural personality is allowed to come out, and this is just how, I don't know if it's God or whoever made me, but this is where I feel at home. So I would say also, I guess the other way to answer this is just knowing that my contacts are good. I really take time to screen my contacts. So let's say I'm talking to a fentanyl dealer in Chicago. I'm going to be on the phone with this guy 4 or 5 times. I'm going to FaceTime him a few times. I want to talk to him. I want to know how he thinks. I want to know if he actually gets the channel, cares about the channel, how he feels about other people. And once I can know that we're in good hands, it makes me feel pretty comfortable. But oftentimes there is a nervousness right before we start, right before we get to the location, right when we pull up, because anything really can go down, especially some of these dangerous neighborhoods where like you're just expecting a drive-by to happen any minute. Like, yeah, it's scary. And hopefully I keep it together on the camera, but I just try and ask the questions and stay in the moment.
Yeah, man. And for me, it comes back to wrestling. I know I've said this before, but my coach said a very powerful thing. Um, my sophomore year of high school, Dennis Frazier, world champion, he gave us the allegory of the 2x4. If you put a 2x4 on the ground, you will feel no pressure to walk across it. It is a very easy task. We can all walk across a 2x4. If you put it at the top of a 10-foot ladder, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more difficult. The task remains the same. The task is very easy, walking across the 2x4. But when you think of the stakes and you think of what could go wrong and how bad it could get, well, then you start to feel pressure. You start to feel anxiety. So my advice is to focus on the task at hand. Don't focus on how it could go wrong. Be aware of how it could go wrong, but don't focus on those things. All right, we have a bunch of questions, you guys. So if I don't get to your question, that's my bad. I will definitely answer all the donos first, but let me try to get to some. Tommy, do you speak Spanish?
Yeah, I would say I'm moderately fluent. I can speak it. I'm really terrible at hearing it. So, oftentimes like in between like questions, the guy that's with me is explaining what was said. I can catch some of it, but I can speak it and ask questions pretty well. I can read it pretty well, but hearing it sometimes it comes too fast. And I'm lucky that my camera guy Miguel speaks Spanish, and then a lot of times like guys like Cheta Blanco, he's my one of my contacts in the Texas area. He speaks it, so they can tell me what's going on when I miss what's going on.
Yeah, man. Um, what was the closest call of getting hurt while filming?
To me, it was this video we were shooting out in Iowa with some gang members in Iowa where there was an active beef going on. And what happened simultaneously is one guy, they showed us a Snapchat video of, I'll just say, a crime, like a crime that would get people 15, 20 years in prison. And then they simultaneously went live on Instagram talking shit and bringing my name into it. Like, oh yeah, we on the block with Tommy G. Fuck this guy and fuck that guy. And that was a decision where I just said instantly, all right, guys, it's been good. See you. And I got my team into my car and left because, as we know from some of the ideas we've pursued out in Washington, D.C. area, Brandon, where drive-bys can happen 2 minutes after someone goes live, I knew that that was the time to get out because I wasn't going to die getting caught in some dumb bullshit.
You mean to tell me when they beckon the ops, you should leave the block?
Yeah. I mean, same thing with this. We have a Latin King video dropping next week, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a machete fight earlier in the day that's on Facebook." and they're like, "Oh yeah, the ops finna slide the block at 8 p.m. They threatened us that that's gonna happen," and it was like 7:45. And I was like, "Okay, that's we're leaving in 5 minutes, so thank you guys." And they thought I was being a bitch, but I'm like, "How do you think I'm a bitch for wanting to leave when you told me a shootout's about to happen?"
Yeah, man. I think it is important to stay smart, and if you guys would like to, get caught in the crossfire of things, that's totally your prerogative. But me, um, I'm gonna if I know the ops are around, I'm gonna probably try to not get caught in the middle of it. Let's see here. What do you? No, I don't want to answer that one. Justin asks, how do I go about finding my passion?
I would say you have to try a lot of things out, man. Like how do you know without trying stuff? So I think like and start to pursue the things that you feel called to or even mildly interested in. So whether it's trying a rock climbing gym or going to a rollerblading park, uh, going to get lessons in Japanese. I mean, you really have to get out there to figure out what you're made of. What do you think, Brandon?
I think that if you never pursue a possible passion, you will forever be doomed to feel passionless or feel regret. I thought teaching was going to be my passion. It didn't work out. I thought that the man on the street prank fuck around shit would be my passion. It didn't work out, and now currently I feel like my passion is creating documentary type videos. Um, and whether that remains my passion for years to come, we'll see. But yeah, you have to keep trying. Uh, you can't. I really don't think you'll ever regret trying something and failing for the most part.
Hmm.
I don't unless your passion slams you over the head, which is very very rare. Typically, you're gonna just have to try stuff and just see if it fits. But not trying is a guaranteed path to never finding your passion, in my opinion.
Well, I just find it interesting. People will get into a loop where they're sitting at home watching TikTok or YouTube all day and then wonder why there's no passion in their life. It's like, well, buddy, you got to get out in the world to figure that out, man. Like, that's the journey of life. And right now, you're sitting on the sidelines in the journey of life. So just don't sit on the sidelines, get in the game, and something will stick.
Yeah, that's great right there. Get in the game. Let's see, what's this? CL donated $5. How do you go about getting contacts for videos? What's your approach?
Hmm. Yeah, so I sometimes it's going into DMs and let me see. Like, how did I find Cheta Blanco? He's probably one of my best contacts. So sometimes I just put it on my story. Hey, heading to so and so Texas, looking for someone that can speak Spanish and guide us around. And people will DM. A lot at the end of every single video, I list 3 video ideas I'm working on and invite people to email me or DM me. So hey, I'm looking for contacts. Shaquille O'Neal, a neo-Nazi group, and RFK Jr., the presidential candidate. And I might get 0 emails if it's a really tough to reach guy like Shaq, and I might get, a few dozen emails if it's something like, hey, I need connections to Portland. Um, and then also like a really valuable contact that's coming up. I am going to Pakistan and Afghanistan in less than 3 weeks here, and another YouTuber named Chris Must List, who's an international vlogger that he has balls of steel. He's connecting you with the Pakistani man that is like the man to get connected with. So using my network and then also digging. Sometimes you just have to dig a little bit in DM.
Yeah, I think putting feelers out there for things you want are really important. Like Tommy does. I think it's a really really good tactic. Posting 3 video ideas that you'd like contacts with at the end of your videos or on Instagram. I know that helped me when I was in Hawaii. I posted probably because of you. I know I saw you doing this kind of a thing, so I put on my Instagram. I want to do all these videos in Hawaii, and then yeah, magically people started pouring in that had connections and had different abilities. But sometimes you're gonna have to go into things raw. Like I went to Kensington, for instance, with no connections and just winged it. I went to Jacksonville with no connections and just winged it, and that can work out too. But yeah, finding connections, you gotta ask. This guy says, Budget Sport TV says, question for Tommy: what's the number one thing to add into your daily/weekly routine that will help to combat anxiety and depression?
I think an inactive body has a very anxious mind. So I would say for my secret is to do hard workouts a few times a week. That makes me feel calm, relaxed, happy, comfortable. And when I don't do that, I feel way off my game and not in the pocket.
So the main key you would say to your mental health is your physical health.
I think they're it's one and the same. They're connected. You can't have one without having the other.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I'm going through that right now, man. I'm going through that right now. These past few days, I've felt better than I've felt all year, because I've been focusing on my health, and that's
Yes.
yeah. And sometimes it might take a long time, but I feel like it's crazy for me how much better it's gotten very quickly.
Hmm.
Let's see. Bud Sport TV said, "What is the best technique you've learned on how to get your damn feet up off the bed and on the floor when you wake up in the rut?" So I guess what is the best advice you have on getting out of bed in the morning? Is that what he's asking?
I might not be the best for this because lately I've been lounging a little bit. I wake up and I pet my dog and I just take my time to get up, but setting a goddamn alarm and listen to it. When it goes off, you get up. That's what I would say if you're having trouble.
Yeah. So set a time. Don't even think about it and just do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's see. Tom, would you ever be interested in doing a video in Israel? I know I know it's a hot topic right now, but is that a place you'd be interested in going and doing some documentation? Because I know you're about to go to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and I think there's a lot of just uncovered stuff worldwide that it would be great to cover. Would you ever do something like that?
I don't know if I would go there while it's an active war zone. I just if I was a single man with not much anchoring me, maybe I would think differently. But I have a lovely wife, I have a kid on the way, I have a dog, I have a really good circle in Milwaukee. So Israel eventually, when it's safe, perhaps. But I am not attracted to booking a flight right now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. JB said, "What was the most valuable thing you learned from your time being a salesman?"
Hmm. Uh, the sale is made in the follow-up, and how that applies to life is if you send one email, one DM, make one phone call, and you think everything's going to close and be fine, it's usually not. Like in sales, they would say it takes an average of 5 to 12 calls to get the prospect to commit or to take a meeting. I forgot which one it was, but it's the same thing with everything else. Like just even building a friendship. You don't just call a friend once and you have a good connection. You got to call them bunches of times over the weeks, over the months, over the years to build something strong. So I would say don't think everything's going to be a one shot snipe and then it's done. You got to keep pitter pattering and keeping the feet going and following up.
Yeah, absolutely. Chat, we're gonna do three more questions. So drop your questions now, and then I'm gonna let Tommy get off the horn. He's given us a lot of time and a lot of valuable information, and I really appreciate that. So the first of the three questions is, Tommy, how do you feel about becoming a father?
I'm scared, but I'm also very excited. I'm scared because I know my life is going to change in ways I can't even anticipate, but I'm incredibly excited. I love kids, and when you're a 29-year-old man with no cousins, no nieces and nephews, like you don't just hang out with kids, it's kind of weird. But like to just have like my friend, I used to have a friend in Milwaukee. He moved away that had a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, and they're so fun. Like you just can do, like you laugh about dumb shit, you make fart noises, you can run in the woods, and they chase stuff. You blow bubbles, they run after them. Like the joy of children is very special to me, and they kind of remind you to not take life so seriously, and they want to hug you, they want to eat snacks. Like it's just a very pure and innocent part of life, and I'm really excited to show my son the world and to let him enjoy life and to be kind of a guidance, to guide him through it.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that the mainstream media makes? That's the second of three questions. We have one more question after that, guys.
they pretend to be unbiased when they clearly are. So it would be better if they just said, "Hey, we love the Democrats and we're going to say Democratic news," and vice versa for the Republicans. But instead, they try and pretend to be unbiased when they're clearly not. That pisses me off. And the other thing is like their format is terrible. They'll invite you on for a 3 minute interview. They'll ask some bullshit ass loaded questions, and you never really get to figure out the issue. Like they already have their story written before they even invite you on, and so it's a worthless way to figure things out. And I guess the last thing that I would say about mainstream media that they really get wrong is they don't have our interest at heart. They represent these kind of smokes and mirror, shadowy figures that isn't for the people. And so that's why they're gonna die when our boomer generation is no longer watching TV. They're not gonna be around anymore, and so they either have to figure it out or they're fucked.
Yeah, yeah. That's right on the fucking right on the head, man. So the final question is: in all your travels and all the different communities you've talked to, what have you learned about the nature of people?
Hmm. I would say overall, like you can, for the most part, you can get a fentanyl dealer, you can get a rabbi, you can get whoever, and one on one, most people are pretty good people and want similar things. And as far as the nature of people, just because of the current situation we're in, I want to highlight this. I've gotten to spend time with the Jewish folks during their Purim holiday. I've got to spend time with Muslim folks in Dearborn, Michigan during Ramadan. And they are so much more similar than they would like to admit. Their conservative values, the way they value family and education, the respect they have for one another in their community, the rules they follow. Like they're very similar people, and it's amazing that there's so much fighting between them, but I guess that's the thing you run into when you believe your God's telling you one thing and their God's telling you another. And when God's telling someone to do something, it's hard to argue with that. But I wish they could come together and realize how much they have in common.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I'd like to end this with my own statement or my own question, man. And I really appreciate you coming on and answering everyone's stuff and sharing your wisdom and a little bit of guidance, man. So something that people might not know about you is that you are actually a real estate, a mini real estate mogul of sorts, right? So you don't just have your
I'm on my
hand.
way.
Yeah, yeah, you're up. You're going. You don't just have your hand in YouTube or being a family man or wrestling or real estate. You have your hand in all these different pots and you juggle a lot of different things. And are there any pro tips you would give for the aspiring real estate investors?
I would say this that to me, having economic independence is a must to have a happy life or to have a life that you can control. And real estate is one of the clearest paths to that. And I would say this that it's a lot easier to get started than you think. There's FHA loans that you only have to put 3.5% down. There's properties in really tough neighborhoods that are a lot cheaper than you would believe. And it's similar to saving up for the YouTube equipment. Like, hey, can you not go to a bar every weekend for a year and maybe you have enough for a down payment for something? And I would say, I love it because you never know when YouTube is going to go away. Right now, people think the stuff I put out is interesting, but a year from now, who knows? Maybe I won't be interesting to people anymore. And so I want to set myself up in a way that no matter what, I no longer have to get a cubicle job that I hate. And so, like just this morning, I was walking through a boarded up house in Milwaukee that is a bank foreclosure. The pipes have been stolen, the wires have been ripped out, the copper and the electrical has been ripped out. And I walked it with my contractor and the realtor. And I might make an offer on it. I think it's a good property. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, and you have to see it for yourself. Like I walk into some sketchy situations and I walk into abandoned houses that I've had homeless guys sleeping, there's squatters sleeping in there as we're walking through it, and it scares the shit out of you. But I'm willing to put up with that to put my family in a situation where we're okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chad, I'd like to ask you guys for a big favor. Can you please light up the comment section with thanks for Tommy? I know he's a really busy guy. He took, an hour and 15 minutes out of his day to come be here and share some wisdom. So if you guys appreciated Tommy, would you just drop absolute bombs on that comment section of appreciation and slam that like button, decimate that like button, chop it up, slam it up, crush it up, and yeah, Tommy, I guess I'll let you have the floor for any closing statements, and you can look at the chat, see how much they appreciate you, and yeah, while you guys listen to Tommy, maybe think about hitting that like button.
To everyone out there, I would say this, that you are in the right place, whether you think you are or not. Like, you are in this chapter of life for a reason. And if you use your effort and your energy the right way, you'll catapult yourself into another chapter that you'll also be a fan of. So you have one life, it's very short. And like, it's amazing that we're even here on earth and get to navigate things. And there's going to be sad moments, happy moments, and everything in between. But you are the captain of your ship. So sail it the right way and sail on into the wind, because there's a lot to see out there. Brandon, I love you, man. I'm really glad to be friends with you. And this has been a cool show. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man, I love you so much, man. I'm really thankful to have you in my life, and I'm really thankful to have, over 100 people that are willing to listen to us talk and share this moment, man. So have a beautiful night, enjoy your evening, and I'll be talking to you soon, brother.
You too, brother. Take it easy.
See you, man. Gang. All right, so what do you guys say, chat? Should I take a call? Should we close it down? We're at about an hour 15. I can take one call if you'd like, or we can close it down. I'll let you guys, I'll let you guys decide with a little poll. Should I take a caller? And it'll be just one caller, but yeah, I'm willing to do it if you guys want. I'll leave it up for like 1 minute. So just cast your vote, slam that like button, and yeah, thank you guys for asking some valuable questions and being here with me and Tommy, man. He's an awesome guy, and I just think it's incredible to see the journey he's taken from salesman, prankster, rapper to one of the leading journalists on YouTube, and the whole time staying true to himself and just being a good dude, man. This YouTube game can be tricky. There's some finicky people, but Tommy G is one of the good guys. I firmly believe that. So it looks like we are about 96% on the caller yes. So I will adhere to your wishes here. Let's see if we got one lined up. Hey, Mustafa, we got somebody?
Yeah, bald
Yo.
dude.
All right. Yeah, let's run it. Bald dude. What's the word?
Yo, what's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
Nothing much. Pretty tired. It's almost 3 a.m.
3 in the morning. Where are you calling from?
Finland.
Calling from Finland. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
What's on your mind?
Man, I've just been struggling to get through like the regular days.
What's been going on? What's the struggle?
Just I've been diagnosed with clinical depression, and it's been like bothering me my whole life. It's been really hard.
And the depression that you deal with, how does it manifest itself in your life?
It's like a constant like feeling of sadness, and it really like burns me out. Like I can't like study or work or anything, so I just have to like rest.
And the more you rest, is it getting better?
No, it's just going worse.
So what does that make you think about the rest you're taking?
Yeah, it's probably not good.
Are there things that you think are contributing to the depression, or is it just chemical imbalance, or what's your perspective on it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been wait. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous, like first time talking like openly and stuff, so
Dude, it's all good. You have
well,
a cool ass accent. I'd like to. I'm sure everyone in chat's thinking like, dude, this guy rocks. So, um,
thank you.
you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, it's been like a constant struggle ever since I was like born that I've had it. So I think it's something like chemical imbalance or something like that.
So
Because there's not usually like something that causes it.
yeah. And I guess, are you, knowing that it's chemical? I mean, what do you plan to do to combat it? I know it's not an easy question, but what are your options? What are you thinking about doing?
I've been like going to the gym and I go to therapy and church. They're like the three things that like keep me going.
And I guess, are they helping? Are you seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, or what's your current mind state? Hello? Can you hear
What?
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Wi-Fi cut out.
Oh, it's all good. But yeah, I guess, what's your current mind state about it? I mean, you said you're going to the gym, you're going to therapy, you're going to the church. Are things getting any better, or is it stagnant?
It's stagnant, yeah. Like I looked at all of the like basic, self self-help things like go therapy and exercise and stuff, but it's not really like sticking.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing the exercise, and how frequently?
At least like once a week. I usually train like larger hours and then rest. But I could like train more, of course.
So yeah, what I'm thinking, and of course, I'll remind you of something you're already aware of. I obviously am not a professional on any of this stuff, and struggle to deal with my own things. But if you're waking up every day feeling depressed, do you think you should incorporate the exercise into your daily schedule? Because I feel like if you're only feeling depressed once a week, it might make sense to work out once a week. But if you're feeling depressed every single day, don't you feel like you have to put something into your daily routine to combat that daily depression?
Yeah, that's a really good like advice. Yeah, I think I should. Yeah,
Because yeah, I can obviously only speak from my perspective, but um, I think in the past I've done the 3 to 4 times a week thing, and I always just fizzle out, man. I always, the rest days feel comfortable, they feel good, and then I think I need more rest, and it's just that crazy
yeah,
fascination where, like, the rest does not make me feel better, but my brain tells me to take the rest and take the rest and don't do it, and it's not helping. It's just making things worse. So I'm where I'm currently at is I'm not allowing myself any time off, allowing myself any actual rest. I mean, with that said, I'm taking active recovery days. So for tomorrow, I just finished my 5 day lift cycle. So tomorrow I'm going to be getting in the sauna, stretching, doing some very very light exercises to bring blood flow to the areas that are sore. But yeah, I wonder if that would be if that's a change that you could make, is up in the intensity and the frequency of the exercises.
yeah. I feel that could be like a really good thing, like to incorporate into my routine.
Mm-hmm. And how's your inner monologue, man? When you wake up and these depressive feelings come in, is it physical? Is it mental? And what are you thinking about?
Oh, it's mental. I have struggles with like suicidal thoughts, and I've tried to attempt it before in the past. Like it's I don't know how to word it, but like serious, severe. I think.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear you're struggling with that. I think it's a scary place to be, man. When you're waking up every day and you're thinking about hurting yourself or just wanting to not be awake, man. I feel like I've dealt with that a lot. Where as soon as I wake up, I wish that I was asleep. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, constantly. I know it, man.
Man, that's a bad that's a bad feeling, brother. And I guess, what thoughts are you having about your life and about yourself when you're thinking that?
I don't really like nothing good. It's always like something bad.
Do you ever write down
Anything.
the thoughts?
No, not really. I usually just try to kill them out and like forget them.
And that's I mean, if that's not working very well, would you be open to writing them down, man? Because that's something that I think is good when you're having all these I'm sure a lot of the thoughts that you're having that are making you feel depressed and making you want to hurt yourself, they're probably not logical. I could be wrong, of course, but I feel like that's a pattern of like these illogical thoughts. You're really hard on yourself. You're really negative. Kind of nobody views you as negatively as you view you. And do you feel like when you look at other people that they're like pathetic and that they should hurt themselves?
No, of course not. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, man. It is weird and it's hard to talk about because it's like for me when I talk about it, sometimes I just feel like I'm all fucked up, you know, which is
Yeah,
which makes it even worse. But I think the good part is you're not alone, man. We got a whole community of people that deal with have dealt with similar things and are working on getting better. So if I could recommend something, I would recommend the next time you're having those thoughts, instead of hiding from them and trying to cancel them out, write them down. Write down a list of what you're thinking about yourself. You know, whether it's like maybe I might write, I'm a piece of shit. Nobody likes me. I have no value. I'm never gonna be anybody. I'm never gonna have a family. You know, I'm dumb. I have no value. I'm ugly. Just these things that just cycle in my head. But when I put them on paper and I look at them, I think like, damn, would I ever tell anyone else these things, or am I just being completely unnecessarily harsh on myself and essentially hexing myself and hexing my soul with like poison thoughts that serve no purpose? You with me?
yeah, yeah.
Would you be
Just
willing? Would you be
like
willing to try
thinking
that?
about. Yeah, like gonna grab a piece of pen and paper and put it on the table. Instantly when I wake up, I'm gonna write it
Yeah, man. Write down
first thing.
every bad thing you think about yourself, and you could, man, you could get creative. Let it rip. Every single bad thing you think about yourself, and then once you feel like you can't think of any more bad things, it might even take you a while to get them all out. Um, just look at that list and then think, man, would I tell this stuff to my friend? Would I tell this stuff to my brother, sister, or mother? And I think what you'll find is, man, you probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't tell anyone those things. And I think it's really unfair that you know, people like ourselves tell ourselves, you know, tell our own selves these things. It's just not fair for us to do that. And I think when you really look at it and you frame it in that context of like, damn, is this fair to do this to myself? I think that writing it down could help a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it would be like very beneficial. Like this. Also, just saying your advice is like the best I've heard. Since I've like tried to get help for this stuff and like glad to be here. Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's hard to talk about this stuff, man. And you know, anyone who demeans you or rips on you for talking about this stuff, man, they probably just aren't going through it, to be honest. And we can't worry about them. But I've found that there's a pattern, man. There's a pattern of things that I tell myself that aren't true, aren't productive, and I've just allowed myself to get caught in this pattern of self-attacking, self-sabotage, and writing them down. I've noticed like, damn, I have having this thought every day. I'm having this crazy, illogical, irrational thought about myself every day, and then I ask, you know, what can I do to make myself not think this, or to try to just, you know, put something into action to feel better. So, like for instance, if I'm feeling like I'm a loser, a valueless loser piece of shit, it's like, well, I went to the gym today. I worked on my YouTube content today. Spent time with my family, walked my dogs, ate healthy, took my supplements, and now I'm live streaming. You know, I'm not that, and I know that because I know I tried my best to put things into action. And I found that when I'm not doing anything, you I feel like when you're not working hard and you're not applying yourself, that's when the doubt comes in, and that's when you actually will start to believe these things that really don't make any sense. So, I mean, with that said, are there some things you could put into your daily routine that you think would, just combat some of these negative thoughts, man? That you think, what is the best version of Bald Dude in your mind? Like, what do you envision when you think of the version of yourself that you'd be proud of?
One that could like work hard every day, and then like even after that go to the gym, train even more. Just be at the like most active I possibly can.
Yeah, just have that productivity and that output, man.
Yeah,
I find myself like, dude, if I stay in bed too long, I find myself hating myself. But my brain tells me to do it. My brain tells me to stay in bed. But if I listen to my brain, then I will hate myself. It's funny how that works.
yeah,
So I feel like sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, and if we don't start to really analyze and evaluate what we're doing to ourselves, then we're just going to keep doing it forever, man. It's like identifying. It would be like you're having these negative thoughts is like a drug, man. We're like addicted to this drug of self hate, and I feel like there's few things I hate more in this world than someone that hates themselves. Not to say I hate you, but like it's just such an unproductive thing, and it's not fair, man. I mean, I know it's a redundant question or an obvious question, but is there any value that you've found by letting these thoughts fester in your mind?
none, absolutely zero. There is like no good,
Yeah,
nothing
man.
good in them.
And it's not even true, man. It's not even true. So it's like, fuck these thoughts, man. I want to combat these thoughts, and I think it's hard. It's like I mean, I'm likening it to this because I got puppies, but it's like training a dog, man. If I don't take the dog out every day and show it has to go outside and pee outside, not inside, it's gonna piss inside, man. And I've been pissing inside my fucking mind for so long.
Yeah,
I need to start taking myself outside and doing the right thing. And they have this saying that happiness is never owned; it is rented. Which I've been really, really thinking about. That is every day, man. I gotta wake up and I've got to rent this happiness because I know tomorrow, if I let it, that evil's gonna sink in and I'm gonna be miserable.
yeah, exactly. We have to fight for happiness, not something that just comes to you.
Yeah. So, and I got another quote that I don't know if you've heard this, if listened to the streams before, but I've said it in prior streams. But it's something that has impacted me this past 11 days, man. And I'm early on the journey, so I'm right here with you, man. We're literally in this shit together because I'm dealing with the exact same thoughts that you're thinking, man. And even dude, because I know I'm capable. I know what I'm capable of doing to myself, and I don't want to do it, man. And I know people say like, oh, I don't have the balls to do it. I don't have the whatever. It's a terrible way to frame it, man. Because if you actually know that if you actually know that you can hurt yourself, man, it's not good. It is not good. So I've been thinking about this, man. I've been thinking about we have to watch our thoughts because our thoughts become our speech. We have to watch our speech because our speech become our actions. We have to watch our actions because our actions become our habits. We have to watch our habits because our habits define us. So,
Yeah, I heard that before somewhere. Yeah, it's
yeah.
a really good quote.
And it just shows how out of control it can get, man. When we wake up and we have these terrible thoughts and then we start talking about it or we don't talk about it, we let them fester and it bleeds into our speech and then it bleeds into our actions and we start to get lazy and unproductive. And then next thing you know, we have a habit of self-sabotaging and being our own worst enemy and being just mean to ourselves. So it really does all start with that self-talk. And another thing that you could do, man, once you get all the negative thoughts out, and you look at how crazy they are, you could fucking rip them up, dude. Rip them up, burn them up, whatever, and then maybe think about some positive affirmations. What are some good parts about yourself? What are some things that you do good? What are some things you can substitute those thoughts with? You know?
Yeah,
Because if you're not able to give yourself credit, man, you are entering a losing game. You're entering just a terrible, terrible pit of confusion, man. You have to be able to give yourself credit. So, for instance, today, is there anything that you could say that you were proud of doing?
Well, at school I got my job done. I'm in trade school right now, learning to become a house builder.
Hell yeah,
We
dude.
did some brick stuff, so I did most of the work. So I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, that's something big to be proud of, man. Anything else you can think of?
Well, the fact that I even got up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
like some weeks I can't even go. Like I just sleep in whole week.
Yeah, man. Today you chose to wake up and face the day, and I'm proud of you for that, man. And
Thank you.
another thing to think about is you. I mean, you called in and you opened up to a stranger on the internet, and we've made this connection, man. We feel very similar to one another. Like we're dealing with a very similar issue, man. And I think that that's something to be proud of. That you had the gall to talk about it and to explain what you're going through, and to not just tell yourself, man up. I'm a piece of shit. I deserve to feel this way, or you didn't just swallow it, man. You're confronting it and you're talking about it. And I think I'm proud of you for that personally.
Thank you, man. It means a lot.
So, I guess on a final note, man, can you put into words some goals and some habits that you're going to start implementing into your life tomorrow morning?
I'm gonna like go to gym, write down my like bad thoughts, look them over, think about like how absurd they are, like they have no idea, and also to like get closer to God. I think that's a part of like the reason I've been like struggling so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I think those are beautiful goals. And I love what you said about God, man, because I don't know what religion you are, but I know a lot of religions they stress faith, man, and how, um, in the Bible, for instance, the faith is the one unforgivable sin. And I'm sure there's other things in different religious texts, but that's really telling, man. The one sin that you can't be forgiven for is not believing in a better future. So
Yeah,
the message to me there is that is kind of the most important thing to do is to believe in goodness and believe in positivity and light and hope for a future. And I think that's a muscle you have to flex. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
work it.
exactly.
Because there's some days where I struggle, man. I struggle to have that faith, but it only gets worse if I don't try, and it only gets better if I continue to work on it. So, as far as the exercise thing, man, you should put yourself on a. I think the more restrictions we give ourselves, the better. So the more we are organized in our routine and know exactly what we want to do. So if you want to go to the gym every day, have a routine and know exactly what you're going to do. Say you're struggling to eat um, every day and you're struggling to be productive with your diet. Make a diet of exactly what you want to eat. Limit the things you have to think about in the day. So you just know, all right, I'm getting up and I'm doing this. Because sometimes, man, especially if we're miserable and we don't know what we're doing, we're going to get up, think about, I want to go to the gym. What am I going to do? I don't know. I'm not going to go. I should eat breakfast. What am I going to eat, man? What's in the fridge? I don't even know. Fuck, dude. I'm not even going to eat. Next thing you know, we lay in bed all day. We've done nothing. So just limiting the amount of things that you have to think about and having everything organized, planned out, and just waking up and executing, man. I think just waking up and executing and know where you're going in your day and know what you're looking forward to. I think that is the best thing to give us a chance at getting better, man. Because right now we got to focus on putting ourselves in a position to succeed. So that's what I think, man.
Yeah, it's like thank you, man. Like from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you so much for still being on this earth, man. And I feel like we're lucky to be alive at the same time. And there's a reason that we're on this call, and there's a reason we had this conversation. And I do believe that, man. And I'm right here with you, man. I'm not. I know you already know, but I'm not holier than thou. I'm not above this. I'm not beyond this. I'm in this with you, dude. And I'm gonna go to bed tonight, fending off those bad thoughts. And I'm gonna wake up in the morning, and I'm gonna be doing the same, man. So we're in the same boat, and I hope you don't feel alone, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you have any closing questions, comments, or concerns?
Uh, no, not really. Also, I just one thing. I just wanted to thank Jet. They're really nice.
Yeah, man. Shout out Jet Neptune. That's
No, not Jet. Well, Jet is good. Yeah,
Jet. Which Jet?
funny guy. And but the like chat in the stream.
Oh, chat, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. See, man,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, no, my accent is hard to like understand.
like it's also just my dumb ears, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, thanks, chat, man. I appreciate you guys so much for just being supportive and being here, and it's nice to know people care, man. It's nice to know that people care for real. So I
Mhm.
really, I thank you for calling in, man. I hope you have a beautiful day. I would love to get you back on a call here before the end of the month. You know, we're wrapping this whole thing up October 31st. And if you'd like to maybe in a week or two hop back on the call and just do a little progress report and see where you're at, man, I would love to hear from you again, man. I really would.
Yeah, I'll be back.
So, man, I wish you the best of luck, man. And thank you for calling in and have a beautiful night.
You too.
All right. See you, brother.
See you.
Well, you guys, I appreciate you so much for being here. I miss some donos, and I apologize for letting me look at that right now. Holy crap. Innate Ways gave $50 and said, Brandon, Tommy G, and yourself are two of my favorite top 5 content creators. I only got hip to the two of you less than a year ago. What you are doing right here is huge. We all here appreciate you, Brandon. Respect from Pontiac, Michigan. Man, thank you so much for the $50 dono. That is a lot of money to give someone, man. And I hope you guys never feel like I'm owed your money or like I think I deserve it or anything. And I really genuinely fucking appreciate it, dude. And I hope you don't feel pressure to donate. I know you guys work hard for your money, and I just appreciate you. Yeah, man, giving me $50 that's crazy. It's crazy to think about. And thank you so much for that. Wardy gave 5 and said, I'm donating out of pity. By the way, Jet Neptune is a weirdo and his dad hates him. Hey, fair play to you, man. Whatever you think, because I know what I think, and I don't think that. So I appreciate you guys being here. Tomorrow, day 12, I think we're going to be having someone who dealt with being in a cult and religious abuse. I think they're going to be calling in tomorrow, and we're going to be discussing that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the callers. Man, day 11, we're still going strong, man. Still sober, still in the gym. Look out for the Juggalo Patreon cut. I should have it done. I'm gonna stay up a little bit late tonight and have it done tomorrow. But I want to give you guys a heads up. This Juggalo Patreon cut is gonna be the worst you've ever seen me. It's gonna be the lowest you've ever seen me. It is gonna be. It's embarrassing, man. It's really embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing. It's really bad. I mean, I'm out of my fucking mind the whole time. I'm out of my mind. And honestly, like, part of me feels like I don't want to put it out, but I know, I know that was my last moments with Donovan, and we had some good moments, but there were some bad moments in there, bro. But it's a great reminder of why I'm sober and why I need to keep on this path, because I don't want to get back to that point. You'll see what I'm talking about when you watch the video. But tomorrow, day 12. Hope you guys are still with me. Hope you're still on the regimen, still on the path. If not, consider joining in tomorrow. It's not going to take any of your money. You won't regret it, and we're in it together, man. Like I said, we're only doing this for a limited time. Once October 31st hits, that's that, man. We will reevaluate. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.